Going live. Hello? Are we live?
Not yet. It has a countdown for like 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Does it? Because it doesn't say that. Are we live?
Oh. There we are!
Are you watching? Because I'm not.
Yes.
Okay. No,
I'm not
watching my
here.
own stream. What
I need to
look?
mute that one so I can hear you guys. Yay!
Is it fine though, Erin? Are we fine?
It looks fine to me.
That's good.
Okay. AJ and Casey, you're watching and typing. Is everything okay?
Steph, Casey.
Other than the fact that we can't stream past 360 bits because we are dumb and the upload speed of the internet is nothing right now.
I mean, we look good to me. Like, we're maybe slightly clearer on YouTube than we are on the Skype call.
Oh,
So.
because what I'm seeing on the preview is garbage. Absolute
Man, looks
garbage.
good to me.
You know what? As long as we sound okay, though, like,
yes,
that's what matters.
Sound is the important
And
part.
here, you lovely ladies. Okay, thank God, because this has been a stressful hour. Holy moly. Okay, I want to see now.
It's weird because it's a few seconds behind.
Yes, that I can't do anything about, sadly. I'm scrolling through my chat with my mom to find the link just to. Oh my God! Why this looks so much better? This is so much better. And there goes my alarm. Oh, look at that! It is pill o'clock. Welcome. Welcome. Didn't plan that out very well. All right.
This is already off to like a great start.
It is. We're very professional. Super professional. And I'm going to remember to look at this screen instead of the other screen. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I am sitting on a brand new chair ball. If at any point I fall off, that's what's happening. I'm hoping.
Also, everyone appreciate the beautiful goat in Kat's background.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nope, other way.
Other side.
Other way. That's the highlight.
This is my Yule goat. This is Roland, my Yule goat. All right. So for the live stream today, we have some questions queued up, and we are going to play a little game in a little while after the questions, and we are also going to be giving away some ebooks. So I'm going to link that now. Copy. Paste into stream. If you want to enter the giveaway for some ebooks, go to that form, fill it out, and we will be drawing it later after the stream, and we'll get in touch with the winners by email. Whee, this is fun. I like this. This isn't even mine.
Right off screen.
Hello. All right. Do one of you guys want to ask a question? It would be weird if I asked my own questions. Wait, I was supposed to intro the stream or something. I wrote a book.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say, maybe you want to talk about your book first.
Do I?
We're here for a reason today.
How do stream? We are here today to celebrate the release of The Goddess of Nothing at All, my debut novel, a 4-year in the making. Wow, it's really dark in here. Boom. It is a Norse mythology retelling from the eyes of Sigyn, Loki's wife, and it is
super good.
Well,
yes.
See, like, everybody tells me it's very, very dark. I personally wasn't too sure how dark it was because I wrote it. And that's always, I don't know. I don't like when I look at my own books, I'm not sure. I was like, no, is it dark fantasy? I don't know. And people are like, this is really dark.
Yeah, you kind of can get numb to your own work a bit.
Yeah.
But also, to be fair, like the first chunk of it is not dark, so I think they get like a false sense of security, and then they're like, oh my God. So by comparison, the last half.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, cause like the thing, I'm like, oh, this isn't so dark. Then it changed drastically.
I am
For the second half.
constantly apologizing to people. People are like, you broke my heart. And I'm like, sorry, but we all know that I don't mean it. Like, oh, I'm sorry that
You
you got
don't
hurt, but also I
like. I was
meant
gonna
to.
say, yeah, I was gonna say, like, you don't mean that you're sorry, or you don't mean to hurt them. Like, which one?
Yeah. Thank you for the reader tears. Come back next time. I guess. Sorry for hurting you, but we also, because it is a book birthday, we brought snackies. Everybody should
Yes.
have a cake,
Oh,
a cupcake. Mine is red velvet because it's like the only box cake you can find in Belgium right now. And
I
Ooh,
ate a few of mine already.
that is fancy.
Not the fact that you ate a bunch of them, but those look really good. Now
I
I want
know.
that.
Yeah, I do too. Like, this is kind of disappointing now. But this is gingerbread because I'm like, it's fall, so
Well, that's
do
fair.
something autumn.
For whatever you can see of this, I made this. It came from a box. It's red velvet. Did you know that if you make a cream cheese icing, that icing should go in the fridge?
That is a fact I was aware of.
Yeah,
I didn't
I
think
hate to
about
admit
it.
I knew that.
I didn't think about it. So I was eating it. I left it out all night. Ate it the second day after lunch, and I was like, "This is really soft." Also, this is cheese. Oh.
You're very brave right now.
If Cat goes
Cheese.
radio silent for a few days after
Yes.
this stream, you know why.
I was gonna say during a live stream.
Yeah, my bad. My bad. Whatever. So,
Okay, I guess we're eating now.
well, I mean, I ate a little bit. I got an hour. I gotta make it last.
It's true.
I've been staring at this all day, so.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I made the cake on Wednesday and it's already half gone. Oh.
Well, I mean, I bought mine last night and it's already a third gone, so what can you do?
No.
I mean, that's what
Mine are
the
mostly gone.
cupcakes are here for, to be eaten.
Mm-hmm.
So, cupcakes and cake, we are here to celebrate a book birthday. This book was 4 years in the making. And the reason that I am on stream with the people that I'm on, Erin is my critique partner from 3 years ago.
Yeah, getting up there.
Yep.
Wow.
Erin and I have been working on this together for years, and Erin is probably the prime reason that it was published at all.
Wow.
I just
awesome.
harassed Kat and I was like, you have to publish it.
Erin found me on Tumblr and was like, harassed me until it was published, yes. And has harassed me for several books after this. So. And Lyra and I found each other on Twitter, and
Yeah.
Lyra also writes Norse mythology, and turns out we've basically lived the same life, except like we moved to different countries, and
Yeah.
Florida versus Canada, but like.
Yeah, but otherwise it's the same.
Yeah. Yep. So this little trio now, we're gonna jump into some questions and see if we can, I don't know, make that entertaining for you guys.
Thank you.
Who's reading the first one?
I can read it because, yeah. So why write from Sigyn's point of view?
As I have so aptly written here, I think all three of us looked at our MCs and decided there was something undecidedly unfair about the existing mythology for those characters. Mine being that Sigyn is non-existent. The mythology mentions her like twice, pretty sure twice, Both times it's not super favorable, and it doesn't say anything about her, just her as adjacent to Loki and his life.
Yeah.
Rude.
Rude.
Yeah.
Very rude.
Like, she's very good at holding a bowl over their,
Yes.
like, people's heads.
Super good at standing like this. That's it. That's all we know.
Her arms must be so strong.
Right? Like, just ripped. Just ripped.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you know, you know, and if you don't know what the bull thing is about, then, I mean, you can look it up or don't.
You'll find out.
It is a major plot spoiler. However, Norse mythology is old, so take your pick.
But find it out in the book instead of looking it up. It'll be more fun.
Yeah. Will it be fun though?
Well, okay, fun is the wrong word, but it will be more interesting than looking it up.
Yes, fun. I keep saying, people will comment and be like, I pre-ordered the book, and I'm like, I hope you have fun with it. And that is such a misdirect. Like, I don't know what else to say. I hope it rips your heart out. Thank you.
You could say I hope you enjoy.
It does.
There is that option.
Well, I mean, enjoy and fun. Like, they're not that far away, and I think they're both kind of a lie.
Like, I hope this ruins you for all other books ever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You think you cried at the Song of Achilles. I still haven't read that book. I have no idea what I'm talking
about. I didn't cry at the Song of Achilles, but I did sob multiple times in your book. So.
Well, yes, because every couple chapters I get a message from Erin that says, "And I'm crying." So that's my.
You have to hydrate.
That's what I know.
You can't read this book without hydrating.
Mm-hmm.
You need a case of Gatorade.
Mm-hmm.
God, I miss Gatorade. Oh, this country. Oh, I mean, what? What do you have? Like, you both wrote mythology. What's your answer to this question of, like, why pick the MCs that you pick? Is it, like, the same reasoning or something else?
I didn't like the current interpretations of Hades and Persephone because Persephone doesn't really have any agency in majority of the stories, and Hades is usually depicted as, like, you know, the ancient Greek devil. So I'm like, I'm gonna fix this and make them reasonable human beings, well, god beings, and give them, like, a proper love story where they, like, respect each other and make choices. We stand agency.
Give agency, get respect. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
I think your answer kind of is the same as my answer. The same reason as, you know, for choosing Loki as my MC is, you know, usually, he's written as, like, either a Satan character or there are some, you know, books that just portray him as just, like, a dick. I mean, fair, but also I felt there was more to him. He has layers, like an onion, you know, just gotta keep peeling them back. And so I wanted to kind of just discover those and see what else is in there. His little gooey center that he claims does not exist. And then again, like, bringing in, you know, Sigyn and like also Odin, I try to figure out, like, some of, like, these other relationships in the mythology, again, like, we don't know a lot about, but there are obviously big stories there since they are referenced. Just trying to kind of build a little bit of, you know, that, I don't know, that castle that's been destroyed, basically.
Yeah. Someone is asking, and I believe they said that it was Alec. Are these two books happier than The Goddess of Nothing at all? Because I could use some happy vibes after reading that.
I don't know how to answer that one.
Mine is, for the most part. I mean, like, it's Greek mythology, so some terrible stuff does still happen, but for the most part, it is fairly squishy.
Your work tends to be a lot squishier than my work. That's for sure.
It really does.
Erin's other book is a romance. Erin has a romance streak.
Mm-hmm.
And Lyra, your book, I mean, it's Norse mythology and it's Loki, so there's still going to be some horrific overlap.
Yeah, like, I mean, there's definitely some suffering. I will say there's, you know, I also have some humor and there's some happy moments. But
you got to have those in there so readers have a second to breathe.
Yeah,
I feel like book 2 was
that was
happier.
more happier. Yes.
Yeah.
I would say that. Yeah, that's more, I would say, more romantical in that sphere. Yeah, it is happier.
I also think it's interesting, like we also had like that that like devil character overlap thing where each of us, whether it's the main character or the side character, has this male figure that has been perceived as like an alternate version of like Lucifer devil stuff through time, taking up that mantle, and that not necessarily being true.
Yeah.
Erin, why? What was your take on that with Hades?
Why he's perceived as that? Don't hurt yourself. Well, I mean, Hades is like the Greek lord of the dead, so think people just kind of associate anything with death as like potentially evil. And I mean, he also judges where you get to spend your afterlife if you've been a good person or if you get to stand around and stare at nothing forever. But yeah, I think it's just a fear of death that got associated with all of that. But he's just doing his job. He's taking care of everybody. He's a good dude.
Doing his best. Doing his very best.
I believe you.
Lyra, your take on the Loki stuff?
Oh gosh, that's like such a deep well. But I mean, but basically, I think it's a misunderstanding of trickster figures. So they just see, the bad. So obviously doing bad things and being in opposition to the Aesir gods, who themselves are also like the worst. That's just automatically shoved them into that box for a lot of people, plus the Christianization of the texts, through the years, millennia. That's just kind of not done a lot of good service for Loki.
No, I mean, he's definitely the prime figure that has any kind of real negative storyline. Like, there isn't anyone else that really gets caught up in it in the same way as he does. Like, sure, you have like Fenrir Hell, that kind of thing, but they really get the side characters. They don't feature in all of these other stories, and Loki's there featuring in them, being a catalyst, and there's no one else. If you're gonna try to create a devil figure in Norse mythology, no one else fits the bill.
Well, yeah, he was the easiest one.
Yeah. What's up?
I was just gonna say that I think also it kind of comes down to people are really afraid of the unknown and they're afraid of change, and death is a big change, and Loki, he's a shit disturber. So, I mean, he's going to be causing a lot of changes, which makes people very uncomfortable. So I think that's another connection, is just everyone's afraid of change, and so they're afraid of these mythological figures that represent big changes.
Yeah, that's really true. And especially ones that don't fit in our like modern lens, or at least in the lens, the last several hundred years.
Yep, I agree with that. Erin, you want to take the next question? Number 2 in the list?
Okay.
Dot number 2, because I didn't number them.
Okay. How did you manage to write such a loving, supportive, cute, and sweet Loki? Was it hard?
I mean, I really enjoy this was from an advanced reader copy, like an ARC reader that read the book before it came out, and the fact that we are using these types of adjectives to describe my Loki, it makes me happy. Don't get me wrong, but I have heard a lot of other comments that are just like, you know what, I really liked him, and then I wanted to kill him. And then I liked him, and then the murder. Also, not sure if I want him to live. Like, I kept getting this feedback of like, I can't decide whether I like him or hate him. So I'm really glad that some people are really like enamored with him, but also it's okay if you want to do a little murder. He's aggravating at times. But I mean, really, what I was going for was to dispel this kind of devil Lucifer thing. Like, all the things that happen in Norse mythology can be true without it being like necessarily malicious, except, you know,
Mm-hmm.
some stuff is
Yeah.
more malicious and intentful than others. But there's a lot of myths that are more of the trickster idea of like
Mm-hmm.
creating bullshit, just like messing
Yeah.
things up, being chaotic, pulling pranks, getting a little tiny revenge, and not necessarily out of malice.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that even some of the worst people go home and are nice to their wife, you know? Like,
Mm-hmm.
among other things. People have
Yeah.
layers.
Yeah. Well, it's not like, again, like, you know, a villain is not going to be thinking, oh, I'm doing bad villainy things today, you know?
I mean, I do that sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, me too.
I think also too, especially in like the earlier parts of your book, is the people that Loki encounters outside of like, you know, Sigyn and Eden, they don't let him be anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they've already shoved him into this little box, and
Yeah.
there's not really a way for him to not be what they're expecting, because they
Mm-hmm.
shoehorn him back into it at like every opportunity.
Yeah. Which is what the mythology has done to him. So, yeah, I really like that too. And especially how you could give an explanation of the reasons why he does what he does.
That was an important change at the start of the book, where when Erin and I first met and were drafting out part of the book, like, I had a very different beginning where he was brand new to the city and had no backstory with other characters. And one of the most important changes was giving him this existing rapport with these other people that already had this idea of who he was and what he was up to, and that, I mean, all of what he was up to was either no good or very good at drinking, depending on if you're Thor.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think letting him as a character kind of show that humans are made of multitudes, or gods in this case, but like, people are made of more than one thing, and no matter what stereotype you carry with you, there is more to every person you encounter.
Yeah. And that's what I think is so powerful with your book too. Is like, it's real. You know, it shows those real layers to people.
I appreciate that, because that is definitely what I was going for. I know that some of my family's watching, so this is a hereditary thing where none of us know how to take compliments. So, family at home, if you recognize this behavior. How much research into Norse mythology did I do until I finally said, okay, that's enough? I haven't stopped yet, if that's any consolation. I research less now than I did before I started the book, because I feel like there is a certain point where you cap out on the major stuff. What I'm mostly doing now is updating my information with new takes on the mythology, new research from like archaeology. I mean, there's only so much you can learn this long after. But there's always, like, Norse mythology especially is a section of like nonfiction literature that is harder to find. You go to any bookstore, you can find Greek, Roman, Egyptian mythology in just tons of different takes, different versions, different, like, it's all over the shelves. But Norse mythology, I used to be lucky to go into a bookstore and find one book, and it would be the same book every time. So it was really me just discovering a book through someone else. Like, someone on Twitter is like, yeah, I read this book on Norse mythology. It's so good. And I'm like, wish I had that a year ago. I guess I'll start reading now.
Yeah.
So, when is enough research enough? You have to make a choice for yourself, and lots is a good, like, you should be doing lots. But when you stop, like, you got to stop sometime, and that's really up to you. What about you guys?
Well, I mean, I took a few classes on Greek and Roman mythology, and I had basically read about it my whole life before writing this book. So it wasn't like a lot of new research. It was more just, refreshing myself on some things and, looking at like what are the alternate versions of the various myths and which one would work better for the story. Because I already had the foundation, so it was just, like updating myself a little.
So for me, because mine is more of a, even though it's like a retelling, I think it's more like a reimagining, because I try to find different reasons for the stories or piece them together differently. So I actually took a different approach as to where I first started with the plot as to what I remembered from the mythology and set it up. So I could try to get more of this little creative puzzle piecing. And then I went and started reading a lot of different books or different research, and then rereading the mythology itself. And then with what I would learn from this, I would go back and put another layer to those first ideas, and then try to boost them with the actual research. And then, of course, I really have to appreciate like Dr. Jackson Crawford's YouTube channel. He gave a lot of like, yes, this was his channel was at the perfect time, like our Lord and Savior, Dr. Crawford. And so that was like even more layers to it. And so that's kind of how I did the research and built like my book. But yeah, like I'm still researching, and then there's things I could pick myself, like should have done that or could have done that, but kind of stuck now.
For me specifically, there's this really new, well, maybe it's not new, it's newer thing where a lot of younger scholars now who are studying Norse mythology are coming at it from like a feminist lens or a queer lens, and instead of going from the traditional directive of like Thor is big macho guy, and like they're coming at this from a different, trying to look at it from a different perspective of like what can we read between the lines and find, and then build out from there, and where do these like where does culture fit in, and where all these different things that would take a million years to explain. But like getting to kind of look at that now, and that like unfolding scene as papers are being published and stuff like that's really fulfilling to be reading, that I also maybe wish I found 5 years ago.
Yeah. Same.
Hey.
It's kind of like a renaissance right now with Norse mythology.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Marvel did something good.
Yep, it did. I honestly don't care how much people hate the interpretations that Marvel has taken, because it's it's so much fun on its own.
Well,
you just gotta appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah.
Just like the movie spin-offs to video games are horrible every time. You just gotta love it for what it is.
Well, exactly. I mean, otherwise you'd have to hate any Norse fantasy technically, right? Because it's never 100% of what it was.
Yeah. I mean,
so just enjoy things.
Exactly. Please. Please. All right. Next question.
Would you like me to ask this?
Whatever.
What are the strengths of this book?
Everything.
Yeah, thank you, cheerleader Erin, and everything. It's all the strengths really.
I was gonna say pain.
Pain, yes. I would definitely go with the characters are certainly the most important piece of the book. That regardless of what book I'm reading, that usually is the thing that I want to see most, and that translated really deeply into what I ended up creating myself. Because while I have done my best to have a good plot and a good magic system and all these other things, all of it could disappear as long as the character still made you cry. That's what I was going for.
You've succeeded.
The strengths of this book include making people cry. Thank you, Alec.
You know what?
Not
Can
wrong.
confirm.
Not wrong. I think it also succeeds in being. I am biased, naturally, but I think it does succeed in being an interesting look at morality.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really important to me that all of these characters that are they're doing their very best and they're doing the thing that they think
Mm-hmm.
is right, and that doesn't always turn out to be the case. It's not always correct.
Yeah.
So that was
Mm-hmm.
important to me.
Yeah. Well, again, that's that real reality, that realness that you bring into the characters.
Yeah.
Because people don't always make the best choices, or again, they do what they think is right, and that's what you really captured there. And again, I also really liked how you weren't afraid to really show like a real relationships, and what people, can do to like build them and, collapse them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I do enjoy
I
collapsing
think that
people.
was a real strength of this book.
Takes a compliment.
I was gonna say, like, just like watching you melt.
Yep. I'll be on off the ball now. Just fall backwards.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to say characters as well, just because like I've gotten to see them grow and change from like a very early interpretation
Yeah.
and just watch them like really round out as people. And I mean, I would still love them if I was reading it fresh, but it's really rewarding for me just to see how far they've come and how far cats come. And it's just good. Like you can bond with these characters, and even if you don't necessarily agree with the things that they're doing, you're just like, okay, I get it. I still want to slap you a little bit,
Yeah,
but I understand where you're coming from.
because you won't agree with like there's nothing about this book that's like should ever be taken as a way to act in the world.
Yeah.
These are not healthy things.
Well, and I think also what was interesting is I feel like you could have gathered a group of people who have read this, and you could probably have real debate over which side they would take.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that's also a strength, which is also, again, in real life, right?
There is a question in the chat from Hannah. You mentioned queer interpretation of Norse mythology. Do any of you have queer characters in your book? All of us. Erin, are yours was Hades? I read Hades and Persephone a long time ago. Was Hades and Persephone explicitly queer?
Okay, so the thing with Hades and Persephone is I wrote that before I realized that I was queer in all the ways that I am. But like I have been rereading it because I'm doing like an audiobook thing for Patreon, and I'm just like, oh my god, like these characters are so ace. They're like extremely demi-romantic, and I'm just like, how did I not grasp? And I mean, like they wouldn't have had those words in ancient Greece, but extremely asexual leads. There's a gay side character who is like my favorite. He's the best. But yeah, definitely ace and definitely demi-romantic. So, I mean, if I could rewrite it again, I would make that extremely explicit. I mean, like it feels explicit to me when I'm rereading it because, yeah.
You can really
but then,
write something into a book not knowing what you've done.
Yes. Yes.
Not like that.
That's like when people are like, oh my god, you foreshadowed here. And I'm like, yes, that was on purpose.
That was, yep. Foreshadowed your own life.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Agree.
Yeah.
For my book, a good portion. I mean, I would, if I have to estimate, because I've never done the math, I would say 75% of the characters probably fall under a queer umbrella. and the ones that don't tend to be the ones that get the least amount of screen time, because the book focuses more on like the misfit characters, the people who would be spending like a lot of intentional time with Loki and his family, rather than the people who are like, this guy pisses me off a lot. So getting to kind of explore, like, there are some people in the book that I found read as under the queer umbrella, and then there's some people that I decided there wasn't any information on, and now that's what they are. And this one has a boyfriend, and that one has a girlfriend, and this one's ace. And everybody is Oprah style, you know what I mean? Just everybody gets queer. But yeah, I mean, that was really important to me, and I think it represents, especially when you're reading the mythology, you know, between the lines and reading it in the against like the magic system, like the magic culture of the real Scandinavia, not the magic system. Then you kind of have set up a lot of characters to fall under the queer umbrella. So and that's really vague. It would take forever to explain. You should definitely look it up.
Yeah.
Lyra?
For me, like, I've set up more of like a queer norm world. So it's just kind of people just can love who they love and be who they are, and no one says anything or cares. Like, it's just part of that world. But like, definitely like Loki, I write as a bi-pan character who's also gender fluid. Pretty much like all of the gods, they're just all bi-pan, because again, that just made sense to me.
Because you can and you did.
Yeah. So that's basically, like, my answer's a little bit shorter, but yeah, so I definitely have a lot of queerness in the book.
And if you're really, I will not spoil what it is, but if as a viewer you are looking for a queer relationship that is really going to throw you for a loop, you should definitely read this book.
Yeah.
Because
thank you. I know
it is.
Thank you.
I do not wish for you that people will be pissed off about it, but I cannot wait to hear someone complain about it for the first time.
I know. So, I'm waiting for that every day. Like, I know it's coming.
Yeah. The more popular the book gets, the more likely you are to hear, oh, what have you done?
Yeah, and I don't know who it's going to be, if it's going to be certain groups or Marvel.
It's going to be Marvel. It's going to be. That's it. Just Anthony Hopkins is just going to roll up and be like, meet me.
I think so. But that was just very important for me to kind of bring, again, the queerness of Norse mythology out into the work.
Yeah.
Again, I think that's just integral to all of the mythologies, as I think we are seeing here.
Yeah.
Greek or Norse.
One of the things that people really underestimate if they only have a basic understanding of ancient history is that people are like, oh, well, everybody was straight. No, that was before Christianity. And everybody did what they wanted. And there are tons and tons of resources on queer ancient history, and you should look them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of queer stuff in history.
Oh, yeah.
So much.
Oh, so much. But they're just roommates. Just roommates. Very good sisters.
Best friends.
Very good sisters.
Yeah.
We have 2 more questions here. Let's do a speed round, and then we do our game, and then we'll do. I'm gonna drop the link again. If you are here and you did not see the giveaway link, here it is. You can enter here for ebook giveaways. Yes.
Okay. Next question. How much is book 2 going to follow the same format as book 1 with myths interspersed with the story, or will it be a completely different narrative setup?
It will not be very mythy. Book 1 covers everything up to Ragnarok, and book 2 is, I mean, it feels weird to like talk about it, like it just came out today, but anyone following Norse mythology knows that there is a theoretical idea that there is an after Ragnarok and that it like resets things. Now, this might be a Christian interpretation. We don't specifically know, but I have run with it because it's more fun. I mean, what is the optimist ending of "and now they're all dead, goodbye"? So, for book 2,
I think that's pretty optimistic.
Yeah, Book 2 is, of course, the aftermath of Book 1 and deals a lot with healing, grief, and because it is the final book in the series, it will wrap everything up really nicely. I hope, says the author who's not done yet. And really, really latch onto those two themes of like grief and healing and how people struggle either to deal with something in a positive or a negative way, like even after in the opportunity to be happy, do you allow yourself? That's the other side of it. Grief is easy to like understand as a concept, but how do you let go of things? So
Yeah.
really
Y'all
light.
are gonna have to hydrate.
It's a really light book.
I've only read first draft, but y'all are gonna have to hydrate.
Yeah, I can also agree.
Yeah, super light book. Yeah, that doesn't really answer the question, does it? There are no more myths to explore. It will explore some Scandinavian folklore, though. I have worked in some beasties and monster type thingies, and otherwise, no myths. Last question.
Lyra,
Okay.
you're the ass.
You do it.
Why do you like to hurt readers and make a character suffer?
Oh wow, I wonder whose question this was.
I have no idea.
No idea whose question this was. I don't know. I mean, we could ask my therapist why I like to hurt readers and make characters suffer. I've always found that like fantasy is a good place to explore a lot of like deeper human things. You put some dragons and some zombies behind it, and then suddenly you have this excellent playing field to explore politics and the like capitalism and all these like big concepts. And so I wanted to do that, but like fantasy is a great playing field for that, but also Norse mythology specifically is so dark. It gives a lot of opportunity to explore morality and choices and I mean that's like this is the scholarly answer, but like I'm drawn more to dark material and things that make me think more than I am to lighter material. I have never been meant to be a romance writer. Erin keeps trying to convince me otherwise, but I managed to do some of it, but I don't. Once it comes to the conflict part, I'm just like I don't know how to do conflict between people who are supposed to still love each other. I don't know how to do that.
Really? Could have fooled me.
Well, maybe I'm just a little self-critical. I don't know. But I just like it, all right? It's a lot of really good reactions. Really good reactions. I'm a monster.
You are.
Okay. Any follow-up to that? Anybody else want to blame me for making them cry? No? Okay. I imagine in the chat I could find someone that will blame me for making them cry. Okay. We're going to play.
You really want those reader tears?
Yes, I do. I do. I want them all. I don't yet have a jar on my desk, but I'm working on it. Okay. We're going to play a game. It doesn't have a title because I made it up. We are each going to be presented with a situation, and we have to discuss and describe whether we think that we would live through this situation. I will be drawing for you a quest that you're going to go on, the realm you'll be going into. This is all Norse mythology.
Gosh.
And
oh gosh, this is bad.
the god that you will be traveling with, and you have to tell me whether you think you're going to live and why.
I mean, I just feel like I know the options.
Yeah, like some of these options are really good, and some of them are really really poor. And you just get to suffer with that. So I'm gonna do Erin first. So just mixing these up a little. Not that I remember from 3 weeks ago what order this went in. You are going to Vanaheim.
Ooh. Funny.
That sounds like a not dangerous one.
Yeah, that's a pretty chill one. To get Freya out of a marriage proposal again. And you're going with Freya. Do you live, and what does it look like?
Okay, well, I mean, it doesn't sound particularly life-threatening, but Freya does have a wee touch of a temper. So I think as long as you could, relax her, maybe slip her a little CBD, then you'd probably be okay.
Yeah, I mean, like,
she just has to look cute and let me talk.
I feel like the biggest issue with the plan is Freya herself. Because I feel like you'll get 5 minutes into this conversation about how to not sell Freya, and she would lose it.
Yeah. And it just depends though if you're in the crossfire.
Yeah. Like, I feel like if you don't anticipate that she's going to freak out and stop that before it happens, you're going to have, like, a full-on war.
I think she can handle herself, but, like, yeah, that's not necessarily a good thing.
But that's the thing, right? Like, we are but mortals. Do you survive?
I think also, too, because, she's gotten out of these things before. So I feel like they might be a little bit more prepared to make sure it's her and not let her leave.
It's also her realm. How does that play into it?
Yeah.
Like, she's going
Maybe
home.
There's a coup.
Yeah.
They're, like, just trying to, like, get her back from Odin and, like, marry her back into the city. And she's like, but my home is there. And also, stop trying to marry me.
Somehow she's a very popular choice.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I personally would survive that, just because I don't know that I would trust her to protect me from her own people.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get in the crossfire and that's it.
I think she'd use you as, like, a shield.
Yeah.
I'll just climb underneath her falcon cloak and just be like right here on her.
I'll be down here. Alternatively, she just starts throwing cats. Just, like, pulling cats.
That would be the cutest weapon.
Is Freya the original Catwoman?
I'll carry one of her cats, and then she'll be much more inclined to take care of me.
Yeah, I feel like that's accurate.
Yeah.
All right, Lyra's turn. You're going to.
Oh no, it's gonna be bad.
You're going to.
I have an idea.
Not Vanaheim. You're going to Asgard.
Oh gosh.
You're going to the hometown itself.
Yeah, that's already bad.
Yeah, it's already conflicting news. To
I'm
steal an ancient artifact. With who?
Yeah.
With Frey.
Would anyone even notice him?
Yeah, I was thinking, you know what? I feel like only because it's Frey, I may have a chance. May.
Has he given his sword away yet? Frey has a burning sword. Has he given it away yet?
Well, he has that burning sword, so yeah, that's an important question. If he has it, we're really good.
Yeah. If he just has the stick, we're not good.
I mean, isn't he supposed to be, like, also pretty hot? So I feel like his beauty may just, like, distract people.
Well, he does have.
Or it might attract them to us.
He has that, like, cult of dudes that he could just like drag behind him and be like, oh, do a distraction.
Yeah, but see, then again, he's also not very smart because, like, he does give that sword away, which does cause problems. So I don't know. I give myself a 50-50 chance of surviving.
That's fair. Alec is asking, what is Frey's story? Frey is not really a character that appears too much in my version. One of the only things he really does in the mythology is has a really good sword that's supposed to kill Surtur at the end, like at Ragnarok. And so he like spies a really hot maiden and decides that he needs to be married to that maiden who wants nothing to do with him, depending on the version that you are reading. And trades his sword for her hand in marriage. And she gets drugged back to Asgard to wed him, and he gives up his sword
Yeah,
that
and
was going to
thus,
save them.
yeah, so thus damns everyone to Ragnarok. Like, just a little thing like that. That's why I'm saying it's a 50-50 chance, because like he does make bad decisions.
Because like men can't be trusted all the time to think with their brains.
Well, if you know this god too, it makes sense. So
Yeah, this guy, I believe this story. Like, I believe it. All right, 50-50 chance of living. Like, he's got to have learned some kind of strategy from his sister, because Freya is the sister.
yeah,
But I don't know. I feel like he's got that like himbo attitude.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, in the end, maybe I'll bump it up. I think I'll be 51% to the living side.
Okay, you're putting a lot of faith in this. I see it. There are worse combinations that you could have gotten, so this didn't
There
go too bad.
are.
I felt like you were like really waiting for something worse. All right, I am going to Helheim. Good, I'm dead. Wicked.
You
I've
are
already
dead.
died. And I am going on the quest to rescue the heir to the elven throne, who is apparently dead.
How did they get down there?
Yep.
Who killed them?
I mean, I feel
like I already know that
like I'm
answer.
getting this is like punishment for what I've done. With Odin, my best friend. Oh no. I feel like this is a trap.
I think if you're down
It
there
does
with
have
Odin,
trap
you're
bugs.
basically already, you're dead and he killed you.
Oh.
Or you're there
Yeah,
as
I
a
feel like Odin
sacrifice.
would kill you to get you into Helheim.
Yeah.
Yep.
And be like,
Yeah.
well, I did my part. I got you there.
There are several readers in the comments that will know that I have not been the most. I mean, like, if you're gonna write the villain's point of view in Norse mythology, then they have to do something mean to Odin. So I don't think Odin really would be on my side. And as the comments say, good luck, cat. You're dead, cat. Yep.
Yeah.
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 I wouldn't get out the front door. And
I mean, I think he'd want to like see what he could like use you for, like obviously as a hostage or something, because like there's going to be a game there.
no, you're right. You're right. There's going to be some kind of manipulation where he can trade me for whatever he needs or
Yeah.
something more useful than murdering me on the spot, because that's kind of his deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow, I really
Great guy.
really no, I don't live through this. Not at all. I don't trust that
don't.
guy. I don't know. Even if I wasn't like biased because of what I wrote, it would still be like no one goes to the underworld with Odin and comes back.
No one does anything with Odin and comes back. Like in the mythology, so.
Nope. Lexi says, maybe you can abandon your quest and get on Hell's good side. At least you'd have a nice place in Hell. Yeah. Yeah.
That sounds so comforting.
I feel like I need to run away in the middle of like the wasteland of Hell and to take my chances. Oh boy. We have 8 minutes left to the live stream, and then we're going to wrap it up. Does anybody have a question they want to ask? And now we wait until the stream catches up to the actual live stream. See if anybody types anything. What suspense? What suspense?
Who's your favorite secondary character?
That's not fair. You know who my favorite son is. Folly is amazing. He's my anger boy.
I love how like gooey you get when you talk about it. You just like see stars.
He is my favorite. Like most of the characters had pre-existing personalities. He didn't. That was a from scratch character, and I am very attached to his black and white view of the world and like it's this very naive, like good versus evil, and
Yeah.
it goes against a lot of what I was trying to do with the book. But there's so many people, my young self included,
Yeah.
that really viewed the world as like there are good people and there are bad people, and people make good or bad choices, and that defines who they are, and you don't really get in between. And I don't know, he's just like young me but angrier in some ways. I just love him. Or maybe that's really weird and biased, but I don't know. And he's also super snarky. He's super snarky.
He is.
And
He is.
his relationship with Loki is complicated and enjoyable. Complicated.
That's a good choice of words.
Would you guys help Loki activate Ragnarok? Decidedly no.
Yeah.
Decidedly
Love
no.
him, but like bad choice there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As much as I enjoy the mythology and the story, I enjoy life.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think he just needed to go to therapy for a bit.
Yeah.
I think that would have been a better
Yep.
choice for him.
Yep.
Several characters should have gone to therapy alongside of him.
How did you decide to write these books? For me, it was I went on a Norse mythology bender, and there weren't enough answers in the written, recorded mythology that, because Scandinavia kept no recorded history until Christianity came along. A lot of the stories were lost either because of time or because Christianity took over and pushed them out. And there's all these holes and no answers, and I was mad about the answers, and so I just decided to write what I assumed was a logical, reasonable possibility. What about you guys?
It's been so long, I honestly don't remember why. I just really liked Greek mythology, and Hades and Persephone was one of my favorite myths. I was like, I'm just gonna write it and fix it a little.
Let's fix it, make it a little bit more respectable to women.
Yeah.
A little bit.
And for me, it was similar to you, Kat, and also just that there was nothing very nice about Loki and Sigyn. And I'm like, that seems like a very interesting love story and relationship. I would like to know more about this. And what there was about that was very disappointing. Not to name names.
When I will.
Okay.
When I first started reading like fiction, like Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology was just out, and
Yeah.
the other prime example was the Gospel of Loki.
Yes.
And everybody is a huge fan of the Gospel of Loki. However, Loki's portrayal I could live with. Sigyn's portrayal was not what I would hope.
Yeah.
It's very like battered woman. Like
child
Loki,
bride.
Yeah. Loki could have his choice of women because he is canonically handsome and smart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Theoretically, for me, someone who is handsome and smart probably can find someone who likes him, and he doesn't need to beat the shit out of her.
Yeah.
So that was really my gripe with that book. Sorry, ma'am, author.
Yeah.
But there it is.
Yeah.
So that was what really pushed me to be like, you know what, she could be a real character, like a fully fleshed out character. Let's see where this goes.
Yeah, it was just like a real trend that she's some kind of like nagging woman that he's forced to marry. Like that's usually the trope. Like for people who don't know, like that's usually 99% what you find.
Yeah.
Actually, I would say 100%.
When I was doing the research for the existing versions of this character, I personally found, whether it was from like the pagan side of things or the non-pagan side, it was like she was married as a child to Loki, which is gross no matter how you shake it out. And then the other one was like the abused spouse. And then alternatively, the like very little framing, but also like because Loki is the devil, she must also be the devil.
Yeah.
Like like just a shitty human being in general. So
Yeah.
I just was like, you know what, this doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't track for
Mhm.
me, especially with the way that most gods and most mythologies have like a yin yang quality,
Exactly.
dark
Yeah.
and light, chaos and
Mhm.
fidelity, etc., etc.
Yeah. And
Like
that's
me.
what drove me to that too. It's like, there's a meaning here. There's something special. What is it? Let's try to figure it out.
Yeah.
Another thing too is like doormat. And I just feel like, as you were talking, like what her name also means, Victoria's girlfriend, I don't feel it's a doormat.
Yeah.
But that's my 2 cents.
We have big opinions here.
We do.
Erin.
We've obviously never talked about this before.
Never.
Okay. So obviously, besides Sigyn, which god or character did you write in there that you think deserves more representation in the general Norse mythology fiction realm? Because I personally would love a book on, was it Lofin? Is that how you say it?
I actually,
Lofin?
pronunciation is not my key point. I will never do a reading of my book in public because I cannot pronounce some of these words or names. I've always pronounced it as Lofin in my head, but I don't super know. But she is a non-existing god. It is possible that Snorri Sturluson made her up in order to he wanted, like, there was so many seats for the gods, and then he wanted this amount of seats for the goddesses to be even. So he might have maybe made up some characters. Unproven, but
Yeah.
she is one of them, and she's supposed to be the goddess of oh, what was the specific title? Unapproved of marriages. There's a synonym I can't think of.
Yeah.
Forbidden marriage. And so I wrote her as like a very worldly, very informed, very open person on love and gender and sexuality. And ever since she got jammed in this book, I have been getting demands for side books, and this is Erin trying to get that out of me. That's what this is.
I agree.
I see.
Now you have 2 of us.
Yeah. Okay, fair.
And I was going to say one god that I've always wanted to see more of that I was really grateful that you actually put a lot in was Hod.
Yes,
Yeah.
That's my second choice after Lofin.
Yeah. Oh, there's the thing I was almost gonna say, and then I can't say it. I can't say it yet. It's like the day of release. I can't throw that out there. Yes. I also essentially took him from obscurity and his one myth and shoved a personality inside of him that wasn't vengeful and evil.
Yeah, I loved him.
I hope people love him. He's just a pure nice guy. He's just doing his
I want the
best.
plushie.
A plushie. I don't even know what that would look like. What is that?
Adorable is what it would look like.
Exactly.
Like one of those squishmallows, just like round.
Do y'all like how I got asked a question and I haven't answered it yet because everybody's making their sequel demands? I see you guys.
Go ahead.
I got no answers though. I don't know. I feel like the people that I wanted to really explore, I got to explore more, but I think that the Forbidden Love Goddess is definitely the one that has the most potential that hasn't already been explored a lot. Like, considering everything about her, I made up on the spot. I don't know. I don't know. That's an unsatisfying answer, but you already got 2 other versions. There's one more question I'm going to answer, because if I don't, I don't get to visit my home next time because she'll be spiteful about it. My bestie Jessica wants to know, who is the most and least relatable character to you and why?
That's a good question.
It is a good question, and she knows this already. We've known each other since I was 13. She knows this. There is good portion of myself that relates to Sigyn because I wrote a lot of my frustrations into her. There are a lot of things that people found relatable, because there are a lot of moments in the book where She is asked to persevere through ridiculous odds, and to prove herself against, like, to the point where someone else would have already got it easier, and she has to like continue to prove herself over and over again, and gets like asked to like jump through hoops to get what she wants. And that is something like I related a lot to that, especially at the time that I was writing her, but also I've had a lot of readers say like, God, I've always felt this frustrated because no one listens to me. So I feel like that's a heavy relatable thing. And I think a small bit, I think there are aspects of Loki that I wrote that I aspire to be. Not so much that I relate to, but he has this like freedom of self and this like ability to just he knows himself, he knows what he wants, he's adventurous, he does stuff for the fun of it, and I have never had that kind of lack of self-control. I am very calculated in the things that I do, and sometimes I ask myself, what would Loki do? And then I decide to say yes to the jumping out of a plane or whatever, but that has not happened.
I'm sure he approves.
Yeah, that would be an approved of activity that is not going to happen. Yeah, that's kind of like an ideal me would be the one between the two of them that can calculate things and also take some risks. Oh, Jessica's saying, I don't know the one you least relate to. I hope Odin. I hope I least relate to the person who manipulates people for their own good. So.
I hope that too.
Hey guys, I hate to tell you this, but we've never really been friends. Never. All right. We are already running over the time that I said these people could go back to their lives. I'm dropping the link again in for the ebook giveaway, and I will contact the winner later. I have to do a call after this, so later. But if you haven't filled in the form already, you should do that because there are literally not that many viewers, and you have a good chance of winning. And I haven't planned on how we were going to wrap this up, so... Oh yeah, you guys are supposed to talk about your book.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
I was hoping you'd forget to ask that
were
question.
You hoping I would forget? Okay, well, I'll start first. Don't cross your legs on the ball. You'll fall off. My book came out today, The Goddess of Nothing at All, the thing we have been talking about for the last while. You can pre-order, not you can regular order. As of today, you can regular order my book on Amazon, most retailers, ask your indie bookstore, or ask your library to order a copy. And all the links for myself and everyone else should be down in the description if I didn't fuck that up. Erin.
Okay, I have Hades and Persephone, and I also have a sort of companion novel, Hera, which is a lot darker. But I have both of those, and I also have a romance novel called Heart and Soul, which is very squishy, and it's K-pop and delightful.
So good.
Oh gosh.
I have lots of books. Go, Lyra! Go.
So mine is the Nine Worlds Rising series. Like the first book is Truth and Other Lies, which I think there's a little icon of it. And it's just like a romantic fantasy reimagining of Norse mythology from the point of view of Loki. And has morally gray everything, strong female leads, and lots of pining and angst.
Wow, that's
like a
recipe. Yes, this is a recipe I like.
There's also some humor. I mean, there's a lot of humor, but mostly angst.
There's a novella coming out in the next while from Lyra.
Yeah, next month now.
Yep. Oh yeah, there's a new month. I had the pleasure of reading the novella arc, and while it is definitely suitable for people who have not yet read the other books, if you want it to crush you in ways that nobody else will catch, you should read book 1 and 2 first.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I agree. Depends how much you want to hurt.
Yeah, I mean there is these little line drops where I was like, you horrible
I think
bitch.
you called me like a monster. I think like
did.
10 times.
I
It was
did
like every
publicly.
day. You did.
Publicly.
I didn't mind.
Fair. So, assuming that anybody who's watching hasn't picked up any of these books yet, you should definitely do that. Again, the form for the ebook giveaway is in the comments. Fill it out. We will draw it, and if you win, we will contact you probably by email. I think that's what I said I would do. All right, we're gonna wrap up the stream. Thank you for coming. If you are just happen to be joining us now, rewind, be kind. People younger than us don't know that.
I was just gonna say you just dated all of us. Thanks.
Oh, I'm old. Blockbuster
You
was
really,
a thing.
You do like to hurt me.
Oh, I do. Just pretend you don't know what I'm talking about. Just pretend.
Okay.
No
What
one
is
has to
We
know.
Rind? What is this? What's Blockbuster?
What is Blockbuster? What are videotapes?
Yeah.
You mean Netflix is not eternal? All right. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Everyone in the... Oh, I just turned to wave to the other screen because that's where the chat is. Thank you, other people from the chat. Thank you, Erin and Lyra, for joining me to
Thank
celebrate
you for
release
having me.
day.
Yeah.
Happy book birthday!
Yeah,
Happy
birthday!
birthday!
I'm going to turn it off now. Bye-bye.